The world of art is full of love, laughter, and a little mischief. Every brushstroke hides a secret. Every smile tells a story. This was the world of Jean-Honoré Fragonard, an artist who turned romance into art and transformed taste into a masterpiece. Today, we take a look at the life of France's most playful genius, the creator of the swing. Fact 1. Childhood and family. Our story begins in the sunny and fragrant town of Grasse in southern France, the capital of perfumes. In 1732, a boy named Jean-Honoré Fragonard was born into a humble family here. His father was a glove maker, crafting delicate leather gloves, surrounded by the scents of jasmine, roses, and orange blossoms. Little Jean-Honoré spent his childhood wandering these fragrant streets, opening his eyes to the colors and textures of the town. Imagine a child walking through markets and perfume shops, secretly sketching the world around him with a piece of charcoal or on paper. Who would have thought that this quiet, curious boy growing up in a city full of scents would one day become one of France's most romantic painters, amaze aristocrats, and inspire future generations? Here the magic began. In a city full of fragrances, a young imagination started to bloom. Fact 2. Early education and first teachers. From a young age, Jean-Honoré showed a great interest in painting and art. His talent amazed his parents, and before long, the young Fragonard was sent to Paris to begin his formal art education. There, he had the opportunity to study in the studio of the famous French painter François Boucher. Boucher not only taught him brush techniques, but also introduced him to the subtleties of the Rococo style, delicate colors, romantic scenes, and light, playful humor. For little Fragonard, this experience was almost magical. With every brushstroke, he brought life and joy-filled colors to the paper. Later, he studied under the master of classical style, Chardin, learning realistic detail and lighting techniques. Both teachers, Boucher and Chardin, influenced his style in different ways. One romantic and light, the other realistic and precise. This curious and amazingly talented young boy was no longer just a simple art lover. He was taking the first steps to become one of France's most romantic and elegant painters of the future. Fact 3. Prix de Rome in studies in Rome. Jean-Honoré Fragonard's talent was already astonishing everyone in Paris. In 1752, he achieved a major success, winning the Prix de Rome, France's most prestigious painting competition. This award allowed him to study in Rome and completely changed the life of the young Fragonard. Rome was more than just a city, it was a marvelous world of ancient architecture, sculpture, and painting. Fragonard studied Italian art there, especially classical Roman and Renaissance paintings in depth. Every street, church, and palace became a source of inspiration for him. Every detail breathed new life into his brush. This journey not only strengthened the young painter technically, but also shaped his romantic, playful, and elegant style. By the time he returned, Fragonard was no longer just a talented youth. He had taken the first steps toward becoming a symbol of France's future Rococo style. Fact 4. Religious beliefs. Jean-Honoré Fragonard grew up surrounded by France's Catholic traditions. He participated in religious holidays and church ceremonies, observing sacred scenes with fascination. These experiences influenced his art. Religious motifs and symbols appeared subtly in some of his works, but he combined them with humor and romance to fit the Rococo style. Fragonard viewed his religious education not just as an obligation, but as a source of aesthetic and spiritual inspiration. In some of his sketches, angels, religious stories, and sacred figures were brought to life with delicate and vibrant colors. This balance, depicting religious themes in a romantic and lighthearted style, made Fragonard appealing both to aristocrats and to a wider audience. Thus, his religious beliefs not only provided subject matter but also added depth, light, and a spiritual touch to his brushwork. Fact 5. The swing. One of Jean-Honoré Fragonard's most famous works, The Swing, is considered a symbol of Rococo art. Painted in 1767, this piece is full of elegance, romance, and a touch of mischief. In the painting, a young woman swings gracefully while a man secretly watches her, and another stands in the shade of a tree. Fragonard tells a subtle story with his brush. The swing is both romantic and playful. Every detail, the clothing, the garden, the light and the shadows, draws the viewer into the scene. The painting reflects the lifestyle, humor, and whimsy of French aristocrats during the Rococo period. With every brushstroke, Fragonard's delicacy and the harmony of his colors are felt, which is why the work continues to captivate audiences centuries later. The swing symbolizes the romance and elegance in Fragonard's art and made him one of the most beloved painters of the Rococo era. Fact 6. Love life. Jean-Honoré Fragonard was romantic not only with his brush, but also with his heart. From a young age, he drew inspiration from stories full of love and playfulness, and these feelings were reflected in his art. Romantic relationships always played an important role in his life. Some sources say he experienced close friendships and love affairs with fellow artists and aristocratic circles. The playful and mischievous scenes in The Swing and other works reflected the romantic energy Fragonard experienced in his own life. Each painting conveyed his understanding of love and taste, as well as the pleasures of aristocratic life during the Rococo period. Thus, Fragonard's art and love were intertwined. His brush brought not only colors but also emotions of the heart to life. His life and works show that for Jean-Honoré, art was always the language of romance and delight. Fact 7. Aristocratic clients and portrait work. Jean-Honoré Fragonard didn't limit himself to creating romantic and playful scenes. He also painted portraits for France's aristocratic clients. At the time, aristocrats adored him because in his portraits, Fragonard captured not only the sitter's physical appearance, but also their character, humor, and even subtle playfulness. Each portrait was a story, a glance, a smile, every detail. The clothing, flowers, delicate accessories, all filled with the finesse of Fragonard's Rococo style. By taking aristocratic commissions, he not only secured financial support, but also further developed his personal artistic style. In some portraits, the models didn't just pose, they came to life through Fragonard's brush, seeming to speak, smile, and engage directly with the viewer. These works increased his fame, making him one of France's most talented and beloved painters, and earning him a legendary status among aristocratic circles. Each painting showcased his mastery of Rococo, delicate color harmony, light and shadow play, and meticulous detail captured the viewer's attention in every work. Fact 8. Mastery of graphics and sketches. Jean-Honoré Fragonard distinguished himself not only with paintings and portraits, but also with graphic and sketch art. His sketchbooks were a treasure trove of creativity. Young women, garden scenes, playful moments, and romantic motifs. In his sketches, Fragonard didn't just outline the main forms. Every line and shadow reflected his understanding of movement and emotion. These graphic works allowed him to experiment with technique and also inspired his major paintings. For Fragonard, sketches were like a laboratory of art. Every idea was tested, every composition examined, and ultimately brought to life in his Rococo works. Thus, Fragonard's sketches and graphic pieces are not only part of his creative process, but also a testament to his artistic mastery. Fact 9. Fragonard's later years and death. Jean-Honoré Fragonard's life was full of art and creativity, but his later years were calmer and more modest. By the 1780s in France, the Rococo style was already changing, and Fragonard's works were somewhat overshadowed. He continued to paint portraits and decorative pieces, but focused more on personal creations and sketches. Even in old age, Fragonard never lost his love for art. Every brushstroke reflected his taste and delicacy. 1806. Jean-Honoré Fragonard passed away at the age of 74. Yet his remaining works continue to carry the playful, romantic, and elegant spirit of Rococo for centuries. His mastery of color and light, playful motifs, and romantic stories still captivate audiences. And Jean-Honoré Fragonard remains a legend in the art world. Fact 10. Fragonard's works in museums. Jean-Honoré Fragonard's works continue to amaze art lovers today. His paintings are displayed in the world's most famous galleries, such as the Louvre Museum, Paris, and the Wallace Collection, London. Each painting, with its playful and romantic scenes, presents viewers with the humorous, elegant, and love-filled world of the Rococo period. Museum visitors looking at the swing and other famous works feel as if they can sense Fragonard's time, experiencing the emotion and movement created by his brush. Fragonard's works live on as a legend in the art world for centuries, inspiring today's audiences as well. Thus, Jean-Honoré Fragonard remains not only a symbol of the Rococo period, but also an irreplaceable figure in the history of art. So, we've explored the life and works of Jean-Honoré Fragonard. We've taken a journey into his playful, romantic, and elegant world, seeing the finest details of the Rococo style. If you love art and history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Comment below and tell us which artist or era you'd like to explore next. Subscribe to our channel and join our journey. Our world full of art is still ahead.